Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of turbo debt?
No, what is that? Something to get me into debt faster?
No, turbo debt is not to get you in debt faster. It's to help you get out of debt. Do you have over $10,000 in credit card, personal loans, medical, or payday loans?
Of course I have debt. That's the American way.
Au contraire, mon frere. Turbo debt will give you the option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
Over 70% of Americans die with credit card debt. Do not let this happen to you. Turbo debt will give you an option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and personal loans, medical or payday loans, they can help. Go to turbodebt.com/techtime. Again, that's turbodebt.com/techtime, all capitalized, for a free consultation today. TurboDebt is a proud sponsor of this week's episode of TechTime Radio.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Each week, our show covers the weekly top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. And of course, with a little whiskey on the side, we are live streaming it on our show on 5 of the most popular platforms. We're going to be adding in a new one next week, which we're excited about. Kick is in the streaming service that we're going to be working with. We are live streaming, though, right now, currently on YouTube, twitch.tv, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/techtimeradio. I'm Nathan Mumm, your host, a technologist with over 30 years of expertise working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. My co-host, Mike Roday, is out today, so we have our co-host, Marc Gregoire, who is normally our whiskey connoisseur. He is in the co-host seat here. He's a senior executive with 30-year record of establishing, implementing, and refining the cutting-edge solutions to address business needs and optimize opportunities in the print business, skilled in strategic planning, team building, and organizational development to achieve cross-functional business objective while reducing overall costs. Wow, that's a big...
Wow.
That was pretty big there. I guess you liked the deal, so we're going to cover it all. We are two friends, though, from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Marc, welcome over to the co-host seat.
Thank you. I'm in the big boy chair.
That's right.
I love it.
And he still brought whiskey, so it's like a double-headed feature here.
It's going to be strange talking about things not whiskey related.
But but you know all about this technology
it's my field,
stuff.
So
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. So this should be not a problem. We have Mr. Miller behind the board today. He's filling in for Odie. So we got over half of our crew gone today. You know, that's what happens. Some people get sick. Some people have some other arrangements. I know I will be on vacation in a couple of weeks, so someone will be filling in. But let's now start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right, today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, Thread users are down more than half. We're going to be talking about that. That was the new social media app that came on out to compete against Twitter or Company X. We're going to be diving into why are all those users down. And the OceanGate co-founder. Do you know what OceanGate was in charge of? A sub that went down to take a look at the Titanic.
I saw this headline and I'm shocked. I got a ton of questions.
Okay, he wants to send 1,000 people to Venus. They have a hard enough time sending them down underneath water, but now he's going to send people to Venus. And Company X is all in a Twitter. Now, Houston, we have a problem. You like how I did that?
That's
There?
pretty good.
There you go.
Pretty good.
We have a problem as NASA sends the wrong command. We're going to be talking about that. And next, we have our informative, funny segment, Letters Back. Marc and I are going to go through letters that were sent to myself during this week on spam items. We're going to be talking about just kind of the funny things that happen and what you should and should not do with those.
I love letters.
And then we're going to be talking about cables and the transcontinental cabling on ocean floors. We're going to be talking about how the internet goes across the ocean. And that's going to be in my Nathan Nugget because I know lots about that. There was 3 main pipes. Now they've opened up 5 main pipes. So we're going to be talking about how this actually transmits information. If you're not sending it across a satellite from country to country, you're going to be using a transcontinental cable on the ocean floor. Then, of course, we have our technology fail of the week and the Nathan Nugget. And as always, we have our pick of the day whiskey tasting. During the commercials, we'll see if you select our whiskey pick of the day with 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. You get to do a thumb vote. So this is a big deal because this is big.
Finally, it's going to have the right thumbs up or down on the whiskey.
All right, at the end of the show. We welcome all of you guys to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Now, let's get to the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, story number 1. What goes up must come down as Meta boss Mark Zuckerberg says his new social media platform is having some challenges. Let's go and listen to what Alexander Conrad has to say about Threads.
Meta and TikTok have launched text rivals now to Elon Musk's X. And tell us all about the updates is Alexander Conrad. He's a senior editor for Forbes magazine. So we already know that Threads was sort of launched and everyone thought it was going to be the redemption of Zuckerberg and the Twitter killer, and it seems to have fallen flat, and no one is even talking about Threads, as far as I can see. What happened with Threads?
Well, Threads, I think, was a bit a victim of its own hype and success in how we think about it, because it did break records by getting 100 million downloads in 5 days.
Right.
That was the fastest ever, beating OpenAI's ChatGPT, and everyone was really excited.
Yeah.
And now more than half the users disappeared. So people say, oh, is it a failure? Yeah. But it does have more than 10 million users. So how do we define a success here? I think Zuck doesn't get to claim victory yet, but I wouldn't count him out altogether.
So let's talk about that. Of course, the Twitter rival had 100 million downloads. So that was like the big news, right? So Twitter is already messing up, or X, whatever you want to call them. They've messed up their company. And so Zuckerberg says, you know what, I can come on in here. We're going to be able to do Threads, which is a very nice name. It interacts with Instagram, and it's going to be a huge success. But half of the people have left. Now, what's interesting, though, is just because half of the people left doesn't mean that it's necessarily a failure. Now, what Threads did do is they came out with a lot of incomplete items when they released. This happens on a lot of products, right? There's a certain time when you say, hey, we're just going to go, whether we have all these tools or not. They didn't have the ability to follow people. They didn't have the availability for the For You feeds, where essentially you're following other people. Those have now been added to the scope, so those are now in the tool itself. And what they're doing is they're actually spending some time to take a look of what they can do regarding language translations and different items. But what's interesting is Zuckerberg had this big meeting where he said, hey, guys, don't worry about Threads. We're going to the company of Meta. And then what he ended up doing is says, let's get some new features out there. Let's compete against Twitter or X. And they had some funny videos where they were making fun of X and a bunch of stuff. But then he went off to address and headline all of the things that he's talking about still in the metaverse. So what he did is he did this meeting. Threads was supposed to be the main topic, and he continues to talk about the metaverse. I don't think Zuckerberg can let go of this metaverse.
So that brings up so many questions that I have for you. So number one, our astute listeners out there know that one person predicted Threads may not be the end-all, be-all before Threads was released.
Yep.
Name of Nathan Mumm.
Yep.
So what do you think now? Because after it, everything was at Twitter, as you said.
Yeah, Twitter's a mess, right?
Everybody was talking about it. So is this just something new and it came up and it's just going to crash and it's as you predicted? Or is this just a battle of incompetence and who's going to be a little bit less incompetent?
Well, what I think is that everybody wanted to get their thread handle, right? Because it's really important to have a handle in today's world. So if you're the Kardashians, you want to be like Kim Kardashian. If you want to be Tech Time Radio, which we jumped on it so we could get the Tech Time Radio handle for Threads. So if it does become popular, then I don't have to worry about going to be Tech Time Radio 2 or something like that because someone stole it. I think half of it is that people wanted to get that handle in case it became large. So there's a lot of pre-excitement about it. But I don't think that Threads is designed right on the Instagram platform. I don't think that the people that use Instagram, I mean, my wife uses Instagram. A lot of ladies use Instagram. They post pictures. They talk about different aspects. Not saying that ladies don't like Twitter, but Twitter was dominant for sports and information in when it first came on out. That was what the beat reporters would use to report on a local team,
Right.
whether it's professional baseball or basketball stuff. That was kind of the inside scoop area.
Right.
And so a lot of men really liked the Twitter interface and got used to it. So I don't know if they have that same audience now built.
So,
And
talking about audience, what social media platform that became big and successful actually started off with a big launch like this? All of them have been from the grassroots, finding it and
Yep.
making it popular.
Yep.
I don't think Meta can push this down people's throat and say this is going to be the next big thing. People have to accept it. You can't make them accept it.
So that's why I think Zuckerberg talked a little bit about it, and he wasn't really defeated in it in the area, because I think he was like, wow, I can't believe it did really successful. And he's like, yeah, we're going to have to build a base. We're going to have to build key people that are on our platform, that those are the only place that those people will be. And then once you develop the key individuals, the celebrities or the people that you're most interested in, then you can actually become a dominant platform. So I think that they're kind of a wait and see. I think that they have a use. I think people like some of the thread aspects. They did release early.
But if you go back to your news where you talked about he moved right to Metaverse, is he really invested in Threads, or is this just a business move to sell, as you've talked about before?
I think it's just a business move to
get
sell.
back to Metaverse.
Because he spent all of his time talking about the metaverse. So
That's not
still
gonna
think Zuckerberg is really hoping. This is what I think now, is that he's hoping that Apple is successful with their headset. More people get into the virtual and augmented reality areas, and then he can come back and be the hero for that. All right. Well, you know what? I think we got story number 2. Mark, what do you have on your
I
agenda?
do. I'm a little surprised this isn't our top stories, because this is almost a technology fail.
Well, it is, but we got a company that's really set for our technology fail this week.
I wonder what that is.
X. Never mind. I didn't say that. Okay, continue on.
All right, so search for Voyager 2 after NASA accidentally sends the wrong command.
Uh-oh.
So NASA engineers hope to reestablish contact with Voyager 2 spacecraft after sending a faulty command. Somebody fat-fingered it.
Yep.
That severed communications with from the far-flung probe.
Okay.
Now, the space agency lost contact with Voyager 2, which is now more than 12 billion miles away.
Uh-oh.
That's hard to reach out and grab.
That is.
When the mission staff accidentally beamed the wrong command to the distant spacecraft more than a week ago. Now, you think, oh, why don't you just send another command to them
Okay.
to fix it?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is the command caused the probe to tilt its antenna away from Earth.
Uh-oh.
And although its direction is pointing in changing by only 2%, so only a 2% shift, that's a big deal when it comes to space, trying to pinpoint a single little point in this vastness of space. So that's enough that the engineers operating the receivers on Earth lost touch with it. Now, Voyager 2 has a twin,
Okay.
Voyager 1,
Okay.
and that was launched a couple of weeks after one another to explore planets and moons of the outer solar system. Now, Voyager 1 is still in contact with Earth, nearly 15 billion miles away. In 2012, it became the first probe to enter interstellar space and is now the most distant spacecraft ever built.
All right. So you think that the person that fat fingered the issue with the Voyager 2 is allowed to work on Voyager 1 commands, do you think?
They probably will not, and they're probably going to put like 20,000 more procedures so it doesn't happen, to make it even more complex, and it's probably going to happen again.
Yeah, you think so? That could happen. You're going to have to go through 7 different checks to do that. Well, that's a great story to hear.
Yeah.
So you know what that tells you? Just 2% off is a big
Oh,
difference.
it's huge.
That's like a direct beam. If you ever set up networks from place to place and you have a point-to-point type of deal, just having an inch or two difference on that point-to-point connection can be the difference between 100 meg connection to a 10 meg connection.
Correct.
So that does make sense.
Now, you can't move on to story 3 yet.
Uh-oh, why
I'm
is that?
still waiting for, if Mike was sitting here, you would be bringing up a particular TV show.
Well, you know what? We're going to get into that next, at our next story number 3.
Well,
this sounds
hang
like a
on.
Star Trek episode.
Yeah, but this is a Star Trek.
This is. Well, did you hear what's going on right now?
What happened in the first movie of Star Trek?
In the first?
It dealt with Voyager. Voyager 6.
Okay, yeah.
Viger.
Okay.
That was the main bad guy.
Okay, was that? That's right, okay.
Oh, I'm disappointed.
I was going to the Star Trek on story number 3. Do you know now there's UFO hearings going on right now today, live, as former U.S. officials claims the government holds UFOs and the U.S. Congress wants the information to be disclosed regarding what's going on.
I hope you can tell me more about it. My wife brought this up to me the other day. She goes, "Did you hear about this?" And I had not. And so she filled me in a little bit. And my question kept going why? Why?
10,000 people were watching the stream that I was on, the CNN stream that was on.
I figure when it's important, it's when the aliens reveal themselves, and then I'll deal with it.
Okay, well, the witnesses said that they have several startling allegations about the U.S. government and UFOs.
Okay.
Essentially over key testimonies of individuals that have already been out there saying that they have seen UFOs before.
Right.
Some of these are military, ex-military individuals. In the scene that felt like a sci-fi movie, the U.S. Congress held a public hearing on claims the government is covering up its knowledge of UFOs. Man, this looked like a version of Stargate, like the Stargate the movie, not Stargate SG-1 series, but Stargate the movie. People are asking questions. They're trying to talk about it. What's interesting is this David Grush guy. He's a whistleblower, former intelligence officer who claims the U.S. has possession of intact and alien vehicles. So that he says there's certain things that he talked about live and other things he said he'd talk about behind closed doors. That's what he kept on saying.
Right.
But he says he has confirmation that the United States government has alien vehicles.
Now, I'm not going to discredit it because it may or may not be true. But my question is, number one, wouldn't he be under some kind of NDA, or isn't there some legal issue for him to talk? And then number two is, by bringing this forward, what is his expected outcome?
Well, he is like the UFO hero. There's posters of him. He is like the X-Files hero poster. He is all over it. If you want to go to a sci-fi convention, this guy comes and speaks. You have people, thousands and thousands of people cramming in a room to hear this guy tell his story. I don't know if it's true or not. It sounds like something that could be like a Galaxy Quest type of idea, but who knows?
Or is he just somebody that's trying to profit off?
Well, he was quoted in saying the truth is out there. That is the X-Files type of deal. So when you're starting to go to
X-Files, not Star Trek. Trek was the last one.
Yeah.
This is X-Files.
Okay, this is X-Files. Okay, there you go.
Great show.
Okay, it was a good show. It was Gillian Anderson, great actress, and David Duchovny. I don't know. He's a little bit off. But speaking of aliens, why not visit another planet? Because of course, OceanGate's co-founder wants to send 1,000 people to Venus. Now that sounds like a safe venture, doesn't it? Just a few weeks after OceanGate's
the venture itself, we are here to explore and increase our knowledge and go where no man's gone before, or no person, I should say.
Okay,
but not by the company that cuts corners.
Not just weeks after. Which is very sad.
I thought the company folded, so you got to tell me a little more about this.
So it's just weeks after OceanGate's own CEO perished, along with 4 other people in the implosion of the Titan submersible. The company's co-founder wants to send other people in groups to essentially inhabitable environments, which is Venus. The co-founder...
So he's choosing to send people to inhabited environments?
Yeah.
This is my goal.
He's the co-founder, and it's Solene, expressed his interest in sending 1,000 people to a floating space colony in Venus's atmosphere by the year 2050. Now, Venus, sometimes dubbed the Hell Planet, atmosphere consists of high speed of winds that churn up toxic levels of carbon dioxide and clouds of sulfuric acid. He essentially clarified in a statement that it was a stretch to call Venus habitable, but he says that there are specific temperatures and pressures in some of the areas of the planets that are more Earth-like, citing NASA and Russian reports from back in the 80s as a part of his information that he has.
So is this just another rich white guy that's trying to prove how big his bleep is?
I don't know about
and
this.
Not even focusing on problems that we have here.
So this is a co-founder that probably isn't a part of the company anymore, knows that there's still a little bit of press becoming with OceanGate, so he probably did everything he could to use that 15 minutes of fame to say that this is what he's doing next.
Unless there's something that's not in this article, this is just ridiculous at this point in time.
Dude, this got national. This is on CNN. This is on BBC. This guy has got national press about this story, so we're covering it. Hopefully nothing goes this way. I would hate to see them build a carbon unit that goes up into space. All right. Okay, now, story number 4 is exciting, though. MIT engineers create a new energy-storing supercapacitor from ancient material.
This is exciting.
Now, this is really exciting. So this is what it's made of. It's made of cement, carbon black, and water. So these are all devices that have been in our historical materials, the cement, carbon, and black, essentially been over here for millions of years within our environment itself. The researchers found that these items can be combined and with water to make the supercapacitor as an alternate to battery. So it uses the water to form in between the fine charcoal and between, so you have a cement base with the fine charcoal in between there, and then you get the water that is poured into it, and it moves that charcoal into a magnetic conducting device.
I'm trying not to make a big joke on this one because this could be quite revolutionary if it progresses as the science is showing. But this also means, like, if you get stuck in some kind of vortex or travel back in time, you may have a chance to create electricity.
Yeah,
and be able to either create a new civilization or travel back, create something, come back. So this is exciting because that's always what people are lacking.
So they stumbled on this as a joke. They stumbled on this as a joke. This was kind of like a joke type of deal to see what they could do with these materials because they've been around forever. And essentially what they found is that a concrete, which they say, think about this, we have concrete roadways all across the United States. These could provide countless recharging items for electric cars as they travel over the roads themselves.
That's amazing.
So with the high voltage that's applied across the capacitor, essentially it could be positively charging the ions as a vehicle is moving across the cement itself. Now, the capacitor is a little different, again, than a battery, so it's not storing it. It's live actual energy that it's transferring at the time. But essentially, on their tests that they've done, they've seen such a huge success that they're having most of the MIT students in this lab area working specifically on their findings that they have right now. They published in the journal a whole bunch of information regarding this, and so that they absolutely have the rights or whatever they have to move forward in looking to see if the technology can be isolated specifically within homes and buildings that are far off power grids is what they're going to look at first, that you can actually have this built up and see if you can produce live energy. Just think if we could produce that. Wouldn't that be that would be so amazing if we just had concrete, water. I mean, these are all materials we have.
This would revolutionize the world.
It would. It would. And so MIT is very excited about this. So that was just off. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. Have you ever wanted to learn more information? You can always visit us online at TechTimeRadio.com. As we continue on in our episode today, we have our letter segment up next by our own Tech Time staff. So buckle up, tech enthusiasts, as we drive the show into 88 miles per hour. You're listening to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. We'll see you after this commercial break. Hello, listeners. We're excited here at Tech Time Radio, aren't we, Mike?
Oh, no.
We have an announcement to make. We are so excited to be a part of the new launch of iTalk Radio Live, the internet 24/7 streaming service. You will still be able to listen to us live here at Kixie 880 and KKNW and all of our affiliate stations, but you'll be able to listen to us at 8 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday now. We look forward to this new opportunity to provide you Tech Time Radio every weekday. And again, you can always catch us online at techtimeradio.com. All right, welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Tech Time's a weekly technology show talking about the current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you myself, Nathan Mumm, and Marc Gregoire today on the show. Wow, this whiskey is strong. It's hitting me. This is the most unique flavor I think I've had on the show in a long time. I know Nathan behind the board said that he's struggling. Doesn't know if this is a thumbs up or thumbs down. So what are we tasting on our pick of the day?
Wow. We are tasting Woodford Reserve Masters Collection Batch Proof 124.7, the 2023 release.
Okay.
So that in itself is a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
So let me tell you a little bit about it.
Okay.
So from Woodward Reserve. Wow. Batch Proof is a celebration of Woodford Reserve's proprietary process, blending barrels into a batch and then bottling the whiskey at its actual proof, straight from the barrel. Batch Proof is crafted using the same grain bill and process as Woodford Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon. The 2023 edition is 124.7 proof. Batch Proof, however, takes Woodford Reserve's trademark flavor range of sweet vanilla and toasted oak to a whole new level, offering consumers the privilege of tasting it at its purest form and not at the standard 90.4 proof of which Woodford is known. Okay. Now, this is from Brown-Forman. It's distilled in Versailles, Kentucky. You got to pronounce that right.
Versailles.
You can't say it the French way.
Versailles, yeah.
They pronounce it Versailles in Kentucky.
Okay.
Straight bourbon, non-age stated. We already talked about 124.7 proof, 72% corn, 18% rye, 10% malted barley. It goes for $140.
Whoa!
And the big change though is it's not 750 milliliters; it's a 700 milliliters.
So it's
European style.
So it's $150 bottle.
$140
bottle. Well, $150 at the normal price because they made it even a smaller bottle. Wow. Okay. This may be I think one of these episodes we're gonna have to bring in some pappies, and I think that would be the only thing that would be higher price than what we've had. I think this is our most expensive bottle.
As soon as I can procure a pappies, I'll be happy to bring it in.
That we're gonna have to do that. All right. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on this, Mark, so we're going to have to
keep sipping.
Okay, I'll keep sipping. All right, well, with our first whiskey tasting complete, let's move on to our feature segment. We're bringing back the funny yet informative reading of emails that I received during the week. This includes scams, phishing emails, and all-out mistruths disguised as legitimate emails in a segment we call Letters.
Letters, we get letters. We get back and back of letters. Oh, letters, we get letters. And the letters all have songs.
All right, this is one of our favorite segments. So fans love this segment too. So we're gonna start with a fan submitted. I get these all the time now, so you can always go to our contact page on techtimeradio.com and submit information. This is a fan submitted Facebook message scam that this individual received. So essentially, they were in Facebook. They received a message that says this page has been reported twice to the INC International Concepts. Your article is using one, someone else's fake name or photo. 2, shares content that misleads others. We've warned you in the past, and if you continue to post content on your page that infringes someone else's intellectual property rights or items, see, it doesn't make sense, or items, page will disabled.
So you've been bad. You've been stealing people's
items,
stuff.
That's right. If you believe this is an error in our system, please verify your account at the link below.
Oh, yeah. Please do that. Put in your password and your credit card,
too. Okay, so here's the link. The link is https facebook.quality-facebook.3425667 number, like 20 strings of digit numbers, .ink. So not .com, .ink /.com. So it looks like if you see there, the .com kind of looks like it's at the end, which makes it look like, wow, that may be really what it is. But
what
no,
is that extension? INK?
So it's an ink.com. So the dot.
Oh, it's like a web
so
page.
the .ink is the end of the web page, and then they have a /, which is a subpage, and then they name that subpage .com, so that you put it in the list that looks just like that. Now, you can confirm your account within 24 hours. Otherwise, our page will be permanently disabled from security team. Now, if you click on this, it has a page that looks just like Facebook. It asks you for your username and password. And if you get one of these, Facebook never, ever is going to send you a in message from somebody as a standard message that's going to tell you that you have someone else's fake name or photo and that you need to click on something. They will, take it down if they think there's a controversy on that. And then what they'll do is they'll have you fill out a form, submit a form that they'll have for you to do a whole bunch of work. And then you have to wait 6 to 7 weeks until someone actually gets to your ticket, and then maybe they'll help you out. But Facebook is never going to proactively tell you that this is the case.
Who are they trying to spam on this one? Because most people on Facebook are just posting pictures of their kids, their family, what they're eating, what they're drinking, their vacation.
So here's the new scam that's going on right now. That is essentially you put in your username and password, and then it says, "Oops, you didn't send it right." So then you do it again,
Right.
then you do it twice, and so then they have that. What they're doing now is they're going on in, and what they do is they change the multi-factor authentication. If you don't have it set up, they enable it to their phone. And then what they do is they'll come back to you and say, hey, we have your page now hijacked, and we will delete your page unless you pay us a sum of money.
So I understand that piece, but how are they targeting people to say you have illicit content on your Facebook? Most people, it's their own pictures.
Well,
It's their
see,
own
but if
content.
let's say you're a part of a group, Let's say you're a part of a knitting group, or you're a part of a
whiskey group,
or you're a part of a nerdy toy floppy disk group. If anybody needs floppy disks, let me know. But let's say you're in a group area there, that the message comes through because someone just got access to that group, and you're not paying enough attention. You're on your phone, your mobile device. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on here to my page. I just posted something about my kid. There shouldn't be anything that's there. What happens is you get the person in the car not paying attention and says, oh no, I don't want to get in trouble. And they click.
I think that you hit it on the head there. So most people are doing it from their phone now, especially the younger generation. And you can't see, like, all the things we have highlighted here that shows why it's fake. You don't see a lot of that on your phone.
You do not.
You really have to be on the computer, and people don't see it. So they're just trying to catch somebody off guard, is what you're saying.
That's what they're doing. Luckily, this fan did not click on that, so they were safe. So that was good. All right. I think you got this. Is a big one here.
I got to be careful on this one because I don't want to be hacked myself.
Well, I don't think you have to worry about it.
Let me just say what the subject is, and if you're a longtime listener, you'll know the history. Forward, FireEye.
FireEye. Okay.
For those new to the radio show, Nathan tends to poke a lot of fun at FireEye.
FireEye is supposedly a security company that provides you no security at all.
Correct.
It is the worst
company.
No,
stop.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So this is from Scott Walker, and he's VP of sales at this company, Prosper X.
Okay.
Work, so they love their X's.
Okay.
And he said, hey, Nathan. It's actually a very well-written email.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not going to, I don't have time to read the whole thing, but it's got bullet points and highlights and bold. Really well done. Business looking. But he says, thank you for showing interest in our services. I got information from Katrina. So I'm sure Tracy wants to know who's Katrina.
I don't know who Katrina is either, but I'm sure that Katrina was a nice person.
And I'll be your point of contact. And then he says, hey, do you need product details for FireEye? And we have information about him. And I have all these number of contacts available for you. 12,953 contacts from 3,467 companies.
Okay.
And so what is he trying to accomplish here?
So now he attached a document.
Yeah, it's a whole spreadsheet.
It's a spreadsheet.
Now, what's interesting is he attached a document with a spreadsheet that most of the time these spreadsheets contain the virus themselves.
Yep. So it did not contain a virus.
No, that's odd for a spammer.
Correct.
It makes you almost think that it's valid at that point.
Okay.
And he wants you really to reach out and say, hey, do you want this information from FireEye, their information, their customers? Because you're in the technology space and you're probably competing with them.
Yeah.
And so this is a way of doing it. So my question is, now I have to throw it back to you because I didn't click through the links and email them back, but I heard a particular individual did.
Yep. So I clicked on the links and I actually engaged with this individual. Now, FireEye was compromised, which you don't see anything about because they don't post it out there, but they were compromised. And I 100% believe that their customer list and all their account information was a part of the compromise that happened. I think this company actually has, so if you look at the spreadsheet that he sent me, those 5 people, I actually looked them up on LinkedIn. They are people that are the exact correct titles. They are people, their phone numbers. I called one of the phone numbers. It was an actual person answering it. I actually think this company is a spam company, and it's not really trying to get my information, but I think they have the stolen information from the dark web.
So I'm going to roll that back. I don't think it's a spam company.
No,
I think they're a cyber
sales
black
group?
hat or terrorists.
Yep.
And they have information from, or they didn't do it, but they have access to the dark web and they pulled this information and they're actually trying to resell. They're an illegitimate business, not really spam.
That's correct. So they are. And if I wanted to pay them money, then I could get all the list of FireEye's places, or I can go myself on the dark web and find it.
And I'll bet you a lot of people out there are purchasing that, especially I wish Gwen was on the show today.
Because she knows all about this. We talked about this last night, and she said, you're going to talk about it? She said, uh-oh. And I said, well, FireEye, bring it on. So if you guys got compromised, there's a lot of companies that once they get compromised, they allow people and they let people know, like LastPass, it gets compromised all the time. But, I mean, if you are a security company and you get compromised, then people will resell your information out there. And be careful.
I hope to see you next week, because I hadn't heard about FireEye being compromised.
Yeah.
And I've heard them talking about other people being compromised and their slams that they did to those companies. So I'd love to see an article next week on their compromise.
Oh, well, I may have to publish it myself then with the information because I don't know if someone's coming after them. All right, here we go. Next one. This is very interesting. I got this from Citron Billing at billing5763, omninet.io, not a company that exists. So the attached invoice is for $000 is due. Okay.
Oh, you got to pay that right away.
So I have nothing on there. So I don't click on the attachment because there's stuff attached to the attachment. So I don't click on it. Your payment, for your payment method to be updated, please click on the payment portal to make changes. Now, why would I need to update my payment information if I have $0 due?
Now, we're making fun of this, but we have seen a lot of these spammers are a little incompetent. I'll bet you that was just a placeholder and they meant to put some dollar amount in there, and either their mail merge didn't work or they forgot to go back and fix it.
Yeah, I think that's something of that. Maybe they might want to put $100 in there or something like that.
Fat-fingered it like NASA.
Yeah, no, they didn't quite. So $0 is due. Sends me a link that's a huge... they didn't even do a short URL. I mean, at least you can use a tiny URL or short URL, but you got huge information. And then it says, please use reference number 5647743. Now, my invoice number right here is 194977623. So it's a completely different number. So my number that I have up here for my invoice is not the same number that they have me reference.
Something like this. I mean, I love numbers. I'm an engineer, so of course I do that. But I think most people, after you see a couple of numbers, they're just going to tune it out. That's too many numbers. I'm done.
Yeah, so
next email, delete.
That was exactly what I did. All right, you got another one up?
I do. This one is not one I think anybody would really click on.
Yeah,
but it's pretty funny.
It is funny.
So it says, alert.
Okay.
Firewall under severe attack. Act without delay. Now, I think most users don't know what a firewall is.
No, that's probably advanced wording that you're going to want to put in there.
And there's a big thing that says Google suspicious virus detected. So they went from your firewall, which usually is either built into Windows or built into your router at home.
Correct.
To Google now.
Yeah, Google doesn't make one.
No, and they say how to remove a virus. So that's different than a firewall attack, a virus. So
correct.
It's all. Now, most people don't know the nuances of this, but I find
pretty big in the technology world. A firewall protects you.
I'm not even going to focus on that part.
Okay.
After that, you have a coupon for Grocery Outlet, $3 off, $25 or more.
I didn't see that.
So you know what?
So I get the email, and I'm really worried about my firewall and a virus. But the best part about this email as I'm opening up is I got myself a coupon to Grocery Outlet.
I know. The road to bargain bliss starts here. That's what it says. So, what I'm curious about, does this coupon work?
Well, I didn't check that part. You know what? You got the printout here. You can see if that worked. I did not go that far into the email itself. But yeah, so if you're going to be using your email services to help advertise, you probably also don't want to do that to be used as a phishing attempt to try to gain information. And you want to make sure when you're using whatever template you have built up into your deal that you delete those coupons before you send out the attack.
That's right. And then at the end it says coupon must be surrendered at time of purchase. But it's an email, so you can print it out as many times as you want. So hopefully if it works, just keep printing it out and you save $3 every time you go to the grocery store.
So
I love it.
So you got an extra hand-me-down. All right, well, that's going to end our segment letters. We have a bunch more, but we will only be able to get through our 4 today since we had a great time with that. Again, you can always listen to our show once a month. We try to make sure we get letters on. It's a chance for you to submit yours as a listener. If you want us to read it on the air, as we did with the Facebook individual, if you got scared into something, definitely send it our way. We can take a look at it. Well, what we do is we also do this for free, is we actually help you and say, you know what, that's not valid and you don't have anything to worry about. So it'll kind of be like a tech support at exactly the same time, too. So think of that as a free tech support if you submit the information to us. We're going to head out for a commercial break here. When we return, though, we have our This Week in Technology.
This is Marc
and Greg
for Copiers Northwest
with a terrific offer
called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner,
one of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service
as long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going back to August 5th, 1858. 1858, that's a little bit ago now.
It was.
The first transatlantic telegraph cable was completed. After 4 attempts, American merchant Cyrus Westfield succeeds in completing the first successful transatlantic telegraph cable. Completed approximately 2 months after the construction began, the cable is the only operational for a month at 1 word per minute.
Wow.
There you go.
That's slower than our old modems.
That's right. On August 16th, though, President James Buchanan and Queen Victoria exchanged a formal introductory and complimentary messages. Probably was very short and sweet. Otherwise, they were on that for a couple hours, right?
Hello, hello, goodbye, goodbye.
That's right. However, this cable provided the feasibility of a transatlantic communication process, and Cyrus Westfield raised new funds to complete the first permanent telegraph line in 1866. Well, that was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history with over 2 years of video podcasts and blog information, you can visit us online at techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows, or join us at the Tech Timers Facebook group to talk with us live all the time. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have Marc's Mumble Whiskey Review and our technology fail.
And you got to hang on for the Nathan Nugget because it ties into this.
We'll see you after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for, Marc's Whiskey Mumble.
At least I've been waiting all week for it.
That's right. This is good stuff, though. And you know what? It does take, you have to take that second. So you take that first initial hit, and then you need to have a sip right afterwards. That was a very good process because it tastes much different that way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Tell us about what is today's special day?
What are we celebrating today?
We're celebrating whiskey.
Wow, no.
We're celebrating cables.
Actually, I chose this before I knew what my top news story was going to be.
Oh, is it space? Oh, does it have to do with some space?
Yeah, so It is Woman Astronomers Day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so this holiday celebrates the many achievements of women in science that have long gone unrecognized. The contributions that female astronomers have made are even more impressive considering they practiced astronomy as a hobby, having been denied a chance at formal education. The most well-known is Maria Mitchell, who made a name for herself not only by her accomplishments in astronomy, but by her dedication to furthering women's education. So this holiday celebrates her achievements and sheds light on the importance of recognizing women's contribution to science.
Have you seen that movie? What was it? Oh, the one with Dances with Wolves guy, and they have all the women in NASA that are working. And it was.
So is it the one where,
like 3 years ago?
So the one that I watch and really love, and we both need our wives because they remember everything, the titles. Yeah. But the one I remember was the women that were doing the math down at NASA.
Yeah. And so they do the projection, and then they also end up going in and late at night, and they start the coding of the punch systems for the deal.
Yes, that's it. That was awesome.
It was very good, and it has.
What the heck was that called?
I don't know. I'll have to look at it. Okay,
all right, we'll look it up at the break.
I'm going to look it up right now.
So,
here we go.
Well, talking about women in science,
okay,
let's talk about Elizabeth McCall. She is now the master distiller for Woodford Reserve, overseeing quality and innovation and leading to special releases, including the Masters Collection and the Distillery Series. She was named Master Distiller in February 2023.
Okay.
and she's only the third master distiller in the brand's 26-year history. Now, I do not dislike standard 90.4 Woodford Reserve. It's just not my jam.
Okay.
Now, released as batch proof in its pure form, not cut by water, please pass the toast. Hey, Nathan.
Yeah.
You know, whiskey and technology is like jam and toast.
It is. You know what else that's like?
You want to jump right to that, or are you going to say that to the end?
No, it's also like Boardwalk and Park Place.
Monopoly.
There you go.
So from this, I get rich caramel, vanilla, nuttiness, spice, nice oak influence with a long finish. Basically, it hits all the notes of a good bourbon in one. So it's a great, if you're just getting into whiskey, try the 90.4 because it gives you a little of everything for bourbon. But if you're really into bourbon, this is a nice jump up. And I'd like to do a little shout out to Lee at the QSC at Pine Lake down here.
Yeah.
He's the one that hooked me up with this.
All right, perfect. All right,
Thank you, Lee.
Now, what we needed, the movie is Hidden Figures, 2016. It's about a story of a team of female African-American mathematicians who essentially served the vital role of NASA during the early years of space program. Yeah, that was a great movie.
An awesome movie.
It was. Especially when the gal, Costner keeps on yelling at her, where are you at? Where are you at? He's like, I have to go to the restroom. It's not in this building, so I have to go on over because they had the...
I'll be honest, I don't even remember Costner in the movie.
Oh, yeah, no, he's the main science guy that wants to get him to the moon.
I don't remember.
Hidden
I remember
Figures.
all the women in it.
2016. You got to watch it. And I thank Gamer Girl 2021 that texted that on YouTube to let us know that that's what the thing was. So thank you very much, because I would not have figured that out myself. All right, well, continuing on, let's get ready for our technology fail of the week, brought to you by Elite Executive Services.
I'm going to toast to this one.
Technology experts to help you out of a technology fail.
We are out of time. Congratulations, you're a failure.
Oh, I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right, this week's technology fail comes to us from the X, or Twitter, and the CEO's X account. We're going to be talking about now. Twitter's CEO's old username was hijacked after Twitter, or the company X, didn't lock it down. Now, CEO Linda Yaccarino changed her handle to reflect Twitter's new name, X. Now, someone is impersonating her old user account. Elon Musk announced that they were changing Twitter's name to X the last week of July, reflecting the billionaire's lifelong obsession with the letter, which is a very normal thing for an adult man to have. Okay, the celebrity CEO, Linda Yaccarino, whom Musk appointed in May, changed her username from Linda ACCS to @Linda X. Unfortunately, the company didn't lock the old username, and the enterprising troll snatched it up. Now, the old account @Linda ACCS now belongs to someone who at least has a sense of humor. The account looks exactly like the real account, complete with her photo, except the words parody spelled out all over in prominent places. The profile also links to xvideos.com. Don't click on that. That is a pornographic site. I thought it was something else, and so I clicked on that. Sorry, browser history. Now,
somebody's got to wipe their computer now.
Yeah. Now, the newly minted...
Talk about spam.
Yeah, Yaccarino account is hard at working and posting easy layup jokes, such as hello, fellow reptilians. And let's revert back to Twitter. Who's with me? This means the account isn't breaking any of X's or Twitter's old policy. The company says parody accounts are allowed and can use elements of another person's identity as long as the word parody, fake, and fan and the commentaries are included in the username and bio. However, Musk has demonstrated a willingness to break or change his company rules in order to do whatever he wants. So who knows if the Linda
sound
ACCS
familiar for rich white males?
Shortly lived X and the personality running the parody account did not immediately respond to requests for comments. Now that's pretty interesting.
Like the Barbie movie, Patriarch.
That's right. Now, typical social media companies have robust security departments that avoid mistakes like this. They create problems for someone impersonating your CEO, but unfortunately, Musk does not have those people anymore, as he's laid off over 3/4 of his staff after he bought his company. So now,
how long is this? This technology fail can go on forever.
Hang on, I know that's why we had to start it early.
Oh my gosh!
So Twitter's big name change has gone anything but smoothly. The word Twitter still appears all over the app and the website. The company also sparked controversy by stealing the @X account from a longtime user without permission or compensation, according to the reports.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. Last week, though, San Francisco police stopped the company from removing the iconic Twitter logo from the side of the building. Musk reportedly did not have a permit for the work and did not take the safety precautions to protect pedestrians on the street below.
Yeah,
so
why does that matter? Why does that matter? He does what he wants.
Right.
He's got money. That's what rules the world here.
Workers were ordered to immediately stop removing the Twitter sign, leaving the letters "right now" on the side of the building. Undetermined, the company had an enormous letter X affixated to the top of its headquarters. So that was the side. Now we're talking about the top of its headquarters, which was held on the edge of the roof with sandbags, according to photos on the scene. So they had this big X that was put up there, and they had this big metal thing, and they had sandbags holding it down. The new logo also had a blinding strobe light that was flashing from a car top that they hired an individual to come in at night and display it on a projector screen television, projecting it onto the side of the building itself also. Now, that also, city inspectors have decided to shut down and say that all of the items that they need to do for their new advertising have to actually go through city inspectors to make sure that they are legal to be taken care of. Well, that...
You haven't even touched upon how they can't really trademark the X because it's so generic. You haven't even talked about how he's suing some nonprofits because they've talked about, released some reports about how the platform now is not too positive.
I only got so much. Important Miller, he's like, hey, we're going to have to wrap this up.
So much.
That's right. We could go on and on and on.
You have people calling the show saying you pick too much on Twitter. So let me say to you, astute viewers, he is not picking on Twitter. He's picking on X now.
That's right.
So it's brand new slate.
That's right. All right, so we're going to skip the last commercial break. We're going to go right on now.
What?
Yeah, we don't need a commercial break. We're going to go right now on to the Nathan Nugget.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
All right, multi-million-dollar companies crisscross the bottoms of the oceans to become vital connections for our online lives. Do you understand that if you're watching a concert in London, most of the time you're streaming that, it's not going up to a satellite in space and streaming it down. Essentially, it's going across the ocean. It's transmitting sights and sounds at the speed of light through bundles of glass fiber as thin as your hair that are thousands of miles long. These cables are known as the interconnected network on the ocean floor. These cables are the size of a garden hose and have high technical marvels. The fastest newly completed transatlantic cable, called the Amity, was funded by Meta and Microsoft and others, carries now 400 terabytes of data per second. That's 400,000 times faster than your home broadband, even if you're lucky to have a gigabit service. Now, as you take a look at it, let's talk a little bit about these cables. Essentially, there used to be the three major cables that led across the ocean.
You need to talk about those and who kind of owns these or who monitors.
Well, now, so what's happened is it's changed because that story was really good about 3-4 years ago. Now there's over 200 interconnected that go through. Before, it used to be three. One that went through London and was a secured line. One that went through Russia, which was Russia looking at your information. And one that went through the India line that we used to have taken care of. Now there are 552 existing tracks that go through different countries that lay on our ocean floor itself. Now you ask, is it safe for the ocean floor? Is it not safe? I'll tell you that these cables now are way more safe for the environment than the transatlantic cables that we talked about in our Nugget, than the older cables that were coaxial that used to be on there. Used to be wrapped in horrible stuff that would degrade and go and leak out into the ocean itself.
Does this make it more difficult for companies? Because one thing we always used to do when we had connections to outside the U.S., we would always see which line it was.
So it does.
Be secure.
It
and
is
now there's so many.
Yeah, you have 15 different lines that go through Africa. You got 20 that go through the UK area. So you now have tons of lines. And what happens is you have these large companies that are deciding to lay them down in cross-collaboration with other companies like Amazon and Google. Microsoft and Meta all work together on this last lay of the transatlantic cable that cost $250 million to install.
Wow.
There you go. Well, that ends our Nugget of the Week.
I need you to do a whole segment on this. This is important for people.
On how the it transmit. We should probably
This
do that.
is really important for business, especially as things become more international.
And you know what's going to happen is it's going to be safer to go to satellites. All right, so let's now move to the pick of the day.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, what do we have for our pick of the day again?
All right, we got Woodford Reserves, the Masters Collection, batch proof, 124.7, which is the 2023 release.
Okay, so did you just got this today?
Not today. I actually got this a couple weeks ago. I opened it about a week ago to get it a little bit of air before bringing it in.
Okay,
but it's just hitting the stores. If anybody's in the Washington area, it's still at the QSC at Pine Lake. I saw another bottle today when I stopped by.
All right, there you go. There's a hint to yourself there. All right, so you're going to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
This is thumbs up for me.
Oh, you like this?
This is good.
Okay.
It's all the areas.
All the areas that you like in here. Mr. Miller, what'd you think of it? Did you give it a thumbs up?
This is probably a first on the show, but it is a thumbs. I don't know. I got to say it's on the upswing, though. But for me, when I'm trying to get more flavor, I just have to deal with more bite, and I'm still figuring it out, but it is on the upswing.
It's on the upswing. You know what? I my palate, this is too rich for my palate. I'm used to the $19 whiskeys, right? So this is like just, wow, I don't know what this is. It's like a whole new category. Mm-hmm. So I would have to get used to this.
This is another level for you.
To have
Take another sip right now.
I am still going to give it a thumbs up because I do like alcohol. And so unless it's just Canadian Mist.
Yeah, you wouldn't get any more bourbon from me if this didn't get a thumbs up.
This is absolutely
Now, it is a little expensive, so...
I kind of try to say that $40 price point. So for me, I don't know.
So maybe their standard, try with their standard, their 90 proof one.
Okay, that makes sense. So, well, from all of us here at Tech Time, it was an honor to be the host of today's show. Mark, thank you so much for filling in for Mike.
I love it. Thank you, Mike, for not being here.
All right. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to give us a 5-star review on any podcast service you may use. And remember, the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today. See you next week.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.